Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI-powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Designers, welcome back to episode 20 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek, and today I wanted to talk about kind of using different LLMs, which are large language models, to ask the same question and see how different they respond. Because I like to experiment with these things and I like to see who does what better than the other ones. So I'll get into what that means in a minute, but the example that I plan to use today is how you can use AI and these learning models basically to create and price out design services. So creating and pricing services has been we've done this for years, right? Like there's always okay, I need to keep up with the Joneses. I need to stay competitive and I need to do X, Y, Z. And I need to make sure that my services are correct for that. The other thing is times are changing. Like what we used to do for design services is just not what we do these days. And especially with workflow changing with AI tools and technology, it's just kind of good to always look back and reevaluate, am I still offering the deliverables and the services that I love and that reflect to that ideal client that I want to serve? And are they still accurately priced for what the market can hold right now? So what I did was I basically ran the same question through multiple models. And what I mean by models is I started with Chat GPT. So Chat GPT Plus, and I actually ran this question through my design assistant that I created, a custom GPT. If you're not sure what that means, there is a whole episode on that. I highly recommend you check out the custom GPT episodes. The other one that I did was Google Gemini. So I ran the same question through Google Gemini. And then I did one through Perplexity, and I did the pro version for this, which I'm paying for. By the way, Gemini is free. GPT Plus is $20. And then I also put it through Microsoft Copilot. So that is my browser, and it has AI enabled inside of that. So I ran the same question through 4 different programs, 2 of which are paid, just because I like to experiment. You don't necessarily have to be doing that. And then 2 of them are free. So let's see what it came out with. Okay. So the first thing that I had to tell it, and this is what I just copied and pasted, it's very simple. Now remember, the more information you can provide, the better your replies are going to be. But for this, I just kind of knew the gist of a service, and that's what I wrote. Okay. So I said, I want to create 3 new virtual interior design services. I currently offer design boards for concepts with furniture linked to purchase, optional renderings and VR walkthrough tours, and virtual consultations. I charge $150 an hour. Create 3 different tiers of services, list out deliverables and what you get with each, and price them for me. Okay, so I have been doing this for a long time. Since 2015 is when I started to work entirely remotely online. So this model might be different than what you're doing in person. Regardless, as long as you ask the same questions and provide it with the comprehensive information about what you do, it still can do all of this math for you and can create these, well, I don't want to say math, but simple math right now. It can do for you, and it can give you a breakdown and then an understanding of what it created for services and why. So the first thing that I got here as a reply is sure. And then it gave me 3 different tiers. So the first tier is the basic design package, and that is priced at $500. This includes, and it gave me a whole deliverable list, initial consultation, so a 1-hour virtual consultation, a design board with links to those products, and then curated color schemes, suggestions for materials for key pieces, 2 revisions, implementation guide. And it estimated that total time would be 3 hours and 33 minutes. So I don't do those things. If I have a virtual consultation, it's 1 hour and that's it. You get the hour. We get to talk about anything you want. But I don't include all these other deliverables. So I did have a conversation with it after it gave me all these things. And I just kind of said, great start, but I don't do 2 revisions. And if I do, I charge after the first one, hourly fee. And for, like, I don't want to be doing design boards for this one. Like, I want to have a consultation version and then one that can have design boards as the follow-up, but is really just a phone call. Okay. So I'll get into that in a second with the revisions. But these are just the initial things that it came out with. Now, tier 2, it says standard design package and price at $1,200. This would include a 90-minute consultation, design board with the links, color palette, material selection, floor plan and layout, 3D renderings, which includes 2 high quality. I would assume it's the same picture because I'm not doing 2 concepts according to this. So the same concept is multiple views, which typically comes with that. 3 revisions. No way in hell would that happen without, charging more. Implementation guide. Guys, once you've been burned by some of these old school e-design companies, you don't do multiple revisions rolled into this price. You just have to set your own guidelines. That's why I'm laughing. So it says that this should take about 8 hours. Aside from the 90-minute virtual consultation and then like the rendering part of this, it's not far off. And then, 3 revisions is just like out of the question, but not far off. Okay. Third tier is premium design package. They have it priced at $2,500. This includes a 2-hour onboarding consultation, design board with links, color palette, material selection, floor plan layout, 3D renderings and walkthrough tour, 4 revisions. Why would you need 4 revisions? Like, oh boy. Virtual assistants, so 2 hours in addition of virtual assistants, final design presentation and implementation guide. And they say that this should take about 16.67 hours to be exact with that. So, okay. So just a recap of these 3, and remember, this is just the first thing. I gave it minimal information, and it's just like, here, let's start with this. If you learned anything from this podcast or any classes, you know to never take the first answer. Always keep having a conversation with it. I think I talked about that specifically last episode on how to speak to your models. Okay, so these ones started at $500, $1,200, and $2,500. Now, I did reply here and I said, I don't want to include a design board with a consultation, just 1 hour of real-time conversation. Alternatively, we can do a second virtual service and have up to 10 products selected, because you got to put a cap on it, for that design board with the 1-hour consultation. So now what it's done is it took the $150 for the virtual consultation for 1 hour. That's tier 1. Tier 2 is $700, and this has that 1-hour consultation, design board with up to 10 products and links to purchase. This one also includes the color scheme and up to 2 revisions, which is a no, and then implementation guide. They said this should take about 4 hours. I don't think that's far off. I don't think I'd be doing a color palette and design board, maybe an AI-inspired image, and then a few of those products. So 4 to 6 hours, we'll say, depends on all of what that is. And then it has the $1,500 for the standard package here, still including an insane amount of revisions. Fourth package, it has, and by the way, I hate that word package, so I will never be using that. That is not an elevated way to sell this investment in design services, but that's just what this rolled out with, okay? So we got paint color palettes, we got renderings, we got 4 revisions, like all those things. Okay, so now I asked, are these prices just for 1 room? Just to clarify, it said yes, rewrote everything for me, and kind of that's where we're at. Now, Chat GPT is not necessarily looking on the internet real time right now and trying to figure out pricing for this that's competitive based on what it sees online. Though with a few subtractions from the deliverables, I do think that these prices are fairly on point for the level of deliverables based off the information that I provided it. This is pretty much been where we've been at with this type of service and pricing level for virtual. I'd say probably since 2019, 2022, or 2022, 2020. And it's kind of holding there. So you can, add and subtract things to make your deliverables and services very different. But generally, this price point seems to be where the market can hold right now, or for the past 5 years or so. So let's ask some other models though. So some of these other models like literally are pulling from websites and other sourced information. So the next one I'm going to look at is Gemini, and this is by Google. This is a free version that I ran this through. So same question, just asked, what, how should I serve this? This is what I'm trying to do, etc. And then this one was interesting because it recapped and it said, understanding your current offerings. Before we dive into the new tiers, let's recap your current services. So it did a really nice little recap of I do design boards, optional renderings, VR walkthrough tours, virtual consultations, and then explained like what it thinks that is, and it's accurate. And then current hourly rate is $150. Okay, so then it says, proposed tiered services. So tier 1, design essentials, target. So this one included a target client, which would be a budget conscious client seeking basic design guidance, and deliverables are design board with shopping links, 1 round of revisions, basic color palette, materials suggestions. So this one actually does not appear to even have the phone call included in this one, and this one is marked at $350. I think with restrictions there and eliminate the revisions, I think that's fair if you go up to like 10 products, right? $350 for 1 room. Tier 2, we have design enhancement, and this one is the target client is clients looking for more comprehensive design solution. The deliverables here include design board with shoppable links, 2 rounds of revisions, detailed color palette material board, basic floor plan layout, and optional 1-hour virtual consultation. So optional for my time. Typically, you're going to go like, it is included or it's not included. You're not just going to be like, if you want it, you can have an hour of my day. Yes or no, include it or don't. So the price here is $650 for what it's listed at. Yeah, I mean, none of these would ever fly with me with the 2 rounds of revisions, the way it's listed now for that flat rate, but I think that could be fair. Also flesh out that 1-hour consultation. Is it happening or not? Okay, and then we have the 3rd tier, which is design immersion, and the target client is clients desiring a full, realized, and immersive design experience. So cool. I like the way that they kind of laid this one out. Design board, shoppable links, unlimited revisions. No. Detailed color palette and mood board, floor plan, furniture placement, high quality renderings, VR walkthrough tour, 2-hour consultation. You probably just do like a 1 in the beginning, 1 in the end if you need to or want to. And then the price for this one is $1,200. And then it gave me some rationale as to why it priced these things. And it says these prices are based on the assumption that the average room project takes approximately 10 hours of designer time. The tiers progressively increase with the value of offering. You might consider offering a package that deals with multiple rooms as well, or an entire home, and explore upselling options like custom furniture design, installation services, and additional revenue streams. This is really interesting. I like how Google laid this out through Gemini. I think this is comprehensive, and this is just on the first iteration. I actually didn't have anything else here that I included or asked for revisions. This is just what it came out with. And now the next prompt to continue the conversation here is, would you like to explore any of these tiers further, or would you like to focus on a specific aspect of your service offerings? So love that it's now prompting to continue that conversation. So yeah, that one's interesting. Let's move on to the next one and kind of see how, let's go to Copilot first, and then we'll do Perplexity. So Copilot is the Microsoft browser that I use. Previously used to use Google and Chrome, but when I got a new computer, like over a year ago now, I'd say almost 2 years, honestly, this came on as like the go-to for my browser, and it acts like Google sometimes with the programs that I'm trying to run, so like rendering and stuff. So it's worked out just fine. And then Copilot was added to it within the browser. So Microsoft Edge is the what I'm using for the for my browser, and then Copilot is inside of that. Okay, so same question, okay? Same question, just running it through this model to see what they come out with. So these prices are, let's start with the basic design package. We start here with $300 for this one. And this one includes the 1-hour consultation, design board that has links, one revision, and what you get. So it lists like you get a cohesive concept, and then direct links to purchase. $300. So considering that 150 of that, half of that is for the 1-hour consultation, I don't think that just one more hour of service is going to cut it for that. So this is another one of those situations where we'd have to do just consultation or upsell with the design board. But this is the lowest that I've seen for $300 for that service. The other ones are saying $500 for that. Then we have tier 2, which is the standard design package, and that one is $750, the initial consultation. So that's 1 hour design board with links, 3D renderings, 2 revisions, and a shopping list. So you get comprehensive plans and visual aids to envision the final look, flexibility and adjustments based on your feedback. I mean, yeah, like one round. But typically I don't render, just so you guys know. I do a design board and then get the approval there, and then we'll move on to the rendering phase. 9 times out of 10, I do it that way. If we're doing a design board, sometimes I just don't even do a design board and I go right to the rendering and show actual products inside of that with the floor plan. So different ways we could work this. Totally cut out a design board altogether and just use it for links at the end. Or, you know, like where do you want to do those revisions is just basically what it's coming down to. Do you want to do it while you're doing a design concept, or do you want to just work in a 3D model the entire time and do revisions that way? Either way, same time difference. Maybe just renders are honestly a little bit less because you're not doing both sides of it. Okay, small tangent, sorry. So back to tier 3, the premium design package, it has at $1,500, again, low compared to the other ones. And this one has 1 hour initial consultation, design board, 3D renderings, VR walkthrough tour, 3 revisions, shopping list, follow-up consultation for an hour. So yeah, I mean, these were low compared to all of the other models that turned around these pricing. So for that reason, I said, how did you calculate these design fees? And so it says, I based this on a combination of factors. So including the complexity of services offered, time required to complete each task, and then value provided to the client. So here's the breakdown. So for tier 1, it says, you know, $150 for 1 hour initial consultation, design concept board estimated 1 hour of work for $150. I'd say like minimum 2 hours. Like just, you know, it's one thing to source products and maybe you were doing it live on the call, but check stock, get them all organized, put them on a design board. You know, even with a minimum of or maximum of 10 on that design board, it's going to take longer than an hour. And then it says 1 revision, which they calculate to be another hour of work. So in the end, it's calculated at $450 for those 3 hours of work, discounted the package to make it more attractive to entry-level service to $300. So that's where it came out with that $300. It literally just shaved off a whole hour of work for $150. And then tier 2 standard design package. So we've got 1 hour consultation at $150, design concept board, estimated $150 of work, 3D renderings. I think it's only going to take 2 hours to do the room. I mean, depends on what it is. I can render in 2 hours for some things, but it depends on what it is. How much is custom, you know, how many materials are we uploading, that type of thing. And then the actual rendering and getting the images to look right. So Definitely not just going to take 2 hours, where they have that estimated here for 300. 2 revisions it has marked in for this one, and that's estimated 2 hours of work, it said, for $300. And then the shopping list is approximately 150, so 1 hour work. So it's totaled tier 2 standard package at 1050, and then discounted the price for that mid-range with added value to 750 for that service. I mean, if you take out that 1 hour of, instead of the 2 revisions, have just 1 revision and have like 1 hour in there for that. Because hopefully you've asked qualifying questions where like you're not redoing the entire design with that revision. And then your 3D renderings, that gives you another hour to play with there. So 3 hours of working time on renderings. It depends. It totally depends on the space. I mean, I'm not going to charge that for a kitchen, but maybe for a bedroom. And then also 750. I don't know. I think that's too much of a discount on that one, but I get where it's coming from. I like how this one did the math and broke it all down for us too. Now the last one is basically the same. It's just saying 1,800 as the total, and then it discounted it down to 1,500. So that's Copilot, and that's how Copilot broke that one down. But let's see Perplexity. So Perplexity is interesting, and this one is pro. So I do pay the $20 just because it's basically a combination of Chat GPT. There's like multiple models inside of this. So there's Chat GPT. There's Llama, which is Meta's part here. I'm trying to bring up my thing so I can tell you exactly what's inside. We also have Claude by Anthropic, so 3.5. And then we have, what else is in here? They use Playground for the images, so you can create AI images. But Perplexity is interesting, and we should definitely talk about this maybe in a full episode sometime. But Perplexity is basically like sourcing everything with links where it finds its information. It's also like, so this is great for blogging and, finding stuff and then sending organic traffic to you, because it's basically like a monster Google. Now I say all of this, and just the other day I posted something about, is Google going to be dead because there's going to be a new search option with Chat GPT coming out. So Search GPT is what it's called, and that is looking like it's going to be beautiful. So we'll see how this all shakes out. But right now, Perplexity is kind of doing what this new Search GPT is promising to do when it releases. It's not out yet. So it sources things, and then on the side panel, it's providing additional resources. So it has videos that link to YouTube that you can watch on this topic that you just asked. It has additional search options where you can continue the conversation. There's suggested sources. There's imagery that pulls up from categorized on the internet, like pulling your whatever topic you're talking about. So it's pretty thorough, and also a great opportunity for you to show up as the expert and then have this link back to your website when it comes to design stuff and people that are using this for searching for design information as the alternative to Google, which is what we're going to be seeing, honestly, in the future here. Okay, so I said the same question, and let's see what Perplexity said. So for tier 1, basic design package, we've got 500. So this seems to be that happy price for the majority of these, except for Copilot, which just put it down to 300. So this one has the 1 hour meeting, a design concept, 1 round of renovations. Revisions. Oh my goodness, that was a tough one today. And then implementation guide. Again, I would do one or both, with just the 1 hour consultation as I do now, or upsell to have that design board. So I would say, 150, if that's your hourly rate for the consultation. And then this being at 500 with the additional time for 10 sourced items. Honestly, it might not be that bad. I think it might be kind of fair depending on how many options you're including on that design board, especially since I'm seeing that is like the consistent price across all of these, results pages here, except for one with the outlier. Okay, and then tier 2, we got priced at $1,200. This is the design concept. This has the renderings. This has a design board, virtual support, implementation guide. We got 2 rounds of revisions with this one. Tier 3 is premium. We got $2,500 for that. 1 hour consultation in the beginning, design concept, 3D renderings and VR walkthrough tour revisions, unlimited, no. Implementation guide, virtual support, exclusive discounts to partnered vendors, no. No. Yeah, that's out there, and that's why they are pulling that information, because I think people are putting that on their website. So why else would it be here, So this is basically like searching for just cross-reference information. It has given me a few different source links. One of them is Forbes, Apartment Therapy. I got Washington Post here. And then, yeah, let's see. Home Guide, Studio McGee, Good Housekeeping, and The Spruce. So basically all of these 8 sources that we have here are all from larger companies for this that have done articles on their website, like blog posts about the best online interior design services in 2024. And then it pulled that information and then, consolidated it all into this. And that's kind of how Perplexity works. It's like looking at articles and then combining the information to create, the average, I guess. Okay, so after all of that, I said, how did you calculate the fees that you came up with? And for tier 1 at $500, it had, the initial consultation being $150, design concept and creation estimated 2 hours again for $300, round of revisions, half an hour, so it's $75, implementation guide, half an hour at $75. So they're saying estimated 4 hours, and the cost should be around $600, but to make it more attractive and competitive, they marked it down to $500. So just a $100 savings. The logic is there with that. Tier 2, we got at $1,200. Basically, the initial consultation, $150, design concept creation, 3 hours at $450. 3D renderings, 3 hours, $450. 1 round of revisions, implementation guide, each of those at an hour, and then virtual support for another hour. So the total is $1,500 and then reduced it to $1,200. We've got the last thing here being the full renders and VR walkthrough tour. Now, just so you guys know, I use my Doma for the visualizer, and you can create these VR walkthrough tours literally the same amount of time that it takes to create a render tour. So it's not like added work. You just need to move your camera around and then kind of seam them all together is what you need to do. And so it honestly could take maybe 15 minutes longer than just creating renders. But in this last tier here for $2,500, it says the 1 hour consultation, we have the design concept creation, estimated at 4 hours, so that's $600. 3D renderings VR walkthrough tour. This one is estimated at 6 hours, where it had and this one includes like the VR walkthrough tour, where the second tier did not, and that one was estimated at 3 hours. So this one doubles the amount of time it takes to do a VR walkthrough tour. But we don't need that for the majority of, well, I don't want to say the majority, but a lot of us just don't need that anymore for VR walkthrough tours. They just are done with a click of a button at this point. So it did kind of factor in added time, which is good. 1 round of revisions, implementation guide, virtual support, estimated at 2 hours, and then exclusive discounts. No direct cost, but added value. So we'll just ignore that one. But in the end, the total here is 15 hours of work. $2,250 is the total after... Interesting. So the total cost comes, if this math is mathin', $2,250 is what the total cost is, and then it says price package $2,500. So it raised the price, reflecting the premium nature of service and additional value. So, it didn't give a discount on that. It actually added more to make it a flat $2,500. So almost like $250 more. Interesting. So if you're watching me on YouTube, I got like this new computer screen and I keep forgetting where my camera is. So I've probably just talked the entire time facing away from my camera. When my wallpaper fell down last week, guys, it changed my entire house. So my wallpaper fell down in my office, which means that I had to get new storage, which means that I now need to repaint everything. So I'm in the process of that. Don't look behind me if you're watching me on YouTube. Everything's a mess. Everything's a flip and mess. But the rest of the house looks good because now I had to redesign and reallocate all my furniture everywhere else. So anyway, when your wallpaper falls down, it means that you have to redesign your entire house. And that's where I am right now. Okay, getting back to pricing. So I hope that this was helpful for you in trying to figure out like the best way to figure out your design services and know that there are options. So previously, like there was spreadsheets, there was flat rate calculators, there's all of these things. And it's like, you don't need it. Like you just don't need all of those things anymore when you can, unless if you don't feel sure about what you're doing. Okay. Like maybe if you're brand new here and you're like, I don't know where to start. You do want to talk to a coach or somebody, that can definitely help get you in the right direction. My friend Claire Jefford is great too, by the way, if you needed to talk about services, deliverables, she does really great, kind of different types of services that you can offer, but she's more, she does virtual, but she does a lot in person. So anyway, if this isn't for you and using AI and strategizing this way, definitely seek out a coach that can help you with that. But if you are comfortable with where you are, you might just be looking for a readjustment in your deliverables, your services, just let your what you offer can be more in line with the ideal client that you're trying to attract and is earning you the money that it should be earning you, right? So like breaking down all of the components that go into a flat rate service or pricing out hourly and your deliverables, it's a fine line of, okay, here's what I want to charge for the market and here's the deliverables that I like to offer. Now, what can I fit into that flat rate fee without losing my sanity and having to do extra work outside of this flat rate? So as long as you can add or remove deliverables, figure out how long approximately things should be taking you, and you're probably not going to be charging the same for a kitchen that you will for a powder room, right? Like they're just different tiers. I recommend you find one of these models, like some of the ones that I looked at today, and give it your information. Tell it, here's what I do, here's who I do it for, here's what I currently charge. What should I do for services? Let's brainstorm, because this is such an incredible tool for you to revise, refresh, rebrand, whatever that's going to be, and then come back out with this whole new level of services that you're excited about. So if now's not a best time to be doing that before like the fall gets here and back to school, and then before we know it, the holidays are going to be here, summer's the perfect time to be revising. And if you're listening to this later, sorry, you can still do this now. But summer's the perfect time to just figure all this stuff out. It's a little bit slower. Now that it's almost August, people are starting to pick back up again and know that fall's on the way. And I know people that are getting busy right now in their design work, where it's been a little bit quiet for the first part of the summer because everybody's out enjoying their lives. But now's the time to make sure all your ducks are in order, that what you offer equals what your ideal client is actually looking for. Because if it doesn't, then there's a disconnect there and it's going to be really hard for you to get new clients. So take a hard look, do some revising if you need to, especially if you're stuck right now and you're not getting the types of clients or any clients. This is a great place to start. Just break it all down and use one of these models to do that. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I didn't know if I was going to be making an episode this week because we were actually supposed to be at my parents' camp it's in Vermont on Lake Champlain. My grandfather built it a very, very long time ago. And my mom came down with COVID and then was literally allergic to the medicine that they gave her. So she's allergic to everything. So she had allergic reaction to it and was so sick. So we actually didn't end up going to see my parents in Vermont this past week. But since my wallpaper fell down, I had a lot of remodeling in my house to do. So that's what I did. and just kind of I actually worked on some planning and some programming for some new AI classes that will be coming out soon. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. Hope that this was helpful for you. Please don't forget to follow and share this with your design friends if you find this helpful with all these AI tips and tricks that I share every week. So until next time, have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tune in next week for more AI tips for your design business. See you next time.